All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom. How's everybody doing out there? Once again, it's on. Shabbat shalom to the family. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. I have what is purported to be a biblical commentary here, and we're going to share some dissertation on it. Somebody, somebody asked me last night if it was fitting to have such a discussion on the Shabbat. To which I say, why not? The book is a commentary on the Bible, and we are critiquing it. Why not? During the Shabbat, we talk about a lot of different areas of thought which contradict the teachings of the Bible. We spend entire Sabbath lessons on how Roman Catholicism is in direct contradistinction to the teachings of the Torah. So why not be able to follow suit? I hope people are able to use their intelligence. Use your intelligence. We are not breaking the Shabbat by talking about this particular topic. The book is about the Bible. Now, if the book is about anything else and we're talking about it on the Sabbath, yes, that might be problematic. But the book is about the Bible, so it is definitely a fitting dialogue to have on the Sabbath. With that being said, shalom, shalom, and welcome to everyone. I'm going to ask everybody to go on your social media and share this live because this is going to be the one. I'm asking everybody to go on your social media and share this live because this is going to be the one. Wait till you see what I bring out. This is going to be the one. Let me go real quick. And let me share it also on mine. To everybody coming in, make sure you thumb up the live. To everybody coming in, make sure you thumb up the live. Thumb up the video and share the live. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what y'all doing. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you are subscribed. Boy, we about to get it in. Boy, oh boy, we about to get it in. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. You guys have any questions on the topic, you can hit me right in the chat room in the live right now. You have any questions on the topic, throw them in the chat room right now. Make sure that they're on topic, though. Make sure that they're on topic. All right. Should be starting in a couple of more moments. Just wait for this to kind of circulate on social media a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to play a video for you guys. In the meantime, I am going to play a video for you guys. All right, let me play a video for you guys real quick. I want you to take in something that is very, very conducive to the dialogue we're about to have. So right away, not wasting any time, watch this. Right away, not wasting any time, watch this. I'm going to play a brief video for you guys that I think you're going to definitely need to hear and experience before having this full dialogue. So let me be able to do that. All right. All right. Here we go.
It's copied into your work without proper.
All right, guys. This video that I'm going to play for you, is going to define for us something known as Mosaic plagiarism. Something known as Mosaic plagiarism. All right, otherwise known as patch writing. This is very, very significant to the dialogue that we're about to have. The term plagiarism is a very general term, but if you are a true academic, you know that there are different levels to plagiarism. You have something called Mosaic plagiarism. And this is what I discovered from just reading the first chapter of Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites, Volume 1, by Garfield Reid. From the very first chapter of his book, I encountered plagiarism. And I'm going to allow you to see and hear for yourself what type of plagiarism it is. It's called Mosaic plagiarism. Here we go.
Another form of plagiarism is committed by students who know that you can't just copy whole sentences into your work without proper credit. And yet, when you're trying to avoid direct plagiarism, it's not enough to just slightly adjust the wording of a passage you've copied into your writing. Copying, pasting, and then tweaking someone's writing might alter the content of the sentence a bit, but it's still a form of plagiarism if you don't properly give credit by using quotation marks properly. This form of plagiarism is often called Mosaic plagiarism, or patch writing. These names...
Let me just state something clear. From the outset of Garfield's book, from the very first chapter, from chapter 1, I noticed that he has several statements which were copy and pasted verbatim from a particular book that we're going to go into. And the book is actually called, let me just pull it up really quick, just to be very, very much on point. The book is entitled Argonauts of the Desert. Argonauts of the Desert, right? I have the book in my PowerPoint, so you're going to see it. So Garfield sources Argonauts of the Desert. He tells you that he gets the information from the book. He definitely cites the book. What he doesn't do is put the quoted words in quotations. Because when an author does that, when a writer does that, they're sneakily trying to pass off someone else's words as if it's their own words. When an author doesn't put quotations around the words spoken or written by someone else, even if they cite the book as a source in their book, it's still a very sneaky way of you not being able to discern what the author is saying versus what the quoted source is saying. This is plagiarism verbatim. It's known as Mosaic plagiarism. I'm going to allow that to be said again, and then we're going to read and go into the PowerPoint.
By students who know that you can't just copy whole sentences into your work without proper credit. And another form of plagiarism is committed by students who know that you can't just copy whole sentences into your work without proper credit. And yet, when you're trying to avoid direct plagiarism, it's not enough to just slightly adjust the wording of a passage you've copied into your writing. Copying, pasting, and then tweaking someone's writing might alter the content of the sentence a bit, but it's still a form of plagiarism if you don't properly give credit by using quotation marks properly. This form of plagiarism is often called Mosaic plagiarism, or patch writing. These names come from the awkward mix of borrowed phrasing and new writing, which forms a patchy sort of mosaic of old and new. The problem with copying, pasting, and tweaking text is that it leans too heavily on the author's original writing. Although some wording might be altered slightly, the syntax, structure, and meaning of the phrasing is typically left intact. If you want to use the author's exact words, use quotation marks to indicate your usage. If you want to summarize or paraphrase, then try to read.
I'm sure you heard him. I'm going to let him say it again. He said, if you want to use the author's exact words, you need quotations. I'm going to say it again. If you want to use the author's exact words, you have to use quotations. If you do not, that is known as Mosaic plagiarism, otherwise known as patch writing.
To use the author's exact words, use quotation marks to indicate your usage. If you want to summarize or paraphrase, then try to read and understand them before setting aside the text and composing new phrases and sentences from scratch. That tricky in-between area where you half rely on someone else's writing while implying that you're paraphrasing is where most Mosaic plagiarism tends to happen. Mosaic plagiarism can still be a problem even if you include a citation. Because remember,
he just said Mosaic plagiarism is still a problem even if you include a citation. So Garfield, at the end of chapter 1, he lists a number of sources that he supposedly is using to frame chapter 1. The problem is, when it comes to Argonauts of the Desert, which is the source he primarily uses, he lists a total of 23 sources in chapter 1. The first 9 sources are only used in the first 2 pages. The other 20-something pages are from a single book, which means the majority of chapter 1 are copy and pasted words from Argonauts of the Desert. Garfield does not place the words of the author in quotations because he is trying to pass it off as his own. And he thinks because he wrote the name of the book in the source part, that somehow evades plagiarism, even though you're going to soon find out that he just committed textbook style plagiarism.
when you use borrowed phrasing, both citations and quotation marks are necessary. Oftentimes, this so-called patch writing happens because a student has copied and pasted from a source when making notes, but hasn't kept track of that pasted text. The student then ends up, sometimes unwittingly, putting the pasted text into their assignment without proper citations or quotation.
All right. So as is being narrated here, this type of plagiarism happens when a writer is copy and pasting things online. Guess what, guys? Y'all already knew this about Garfield. You already knew he's a Google and Wikipedia scholar. You already knew he's the copy and paste king. As was just narrated, and I'm going to allow it to play back again just for clarity, the narrator is making it clear that this type of plagiarism happens when somebody is in the habit of copy and pasting from a particular source, forgetting to put quotations or purposely not putting quotations. But the point is, they're copying, pasting from a source. That means it's not an original work. They're stealing someone else's work, trying to pass it off as their own by not adding quotations, and think because they sneakily hid the author's book listed in their source that it's okay. Because what he's going to say is, I listed the book, it's in my sources. Yeah, that's okay. But as you guys are about to see, you still needed to add quotations around the words of the author, especially when 90% of chapter 1 are the author's words verbatim without your words at all. And here we go. Exhibit A. Let me unshare my screen to go all the way with this one. Exhibit A, y'all. Hold tight. I got you, family. I told you. All we waiting for is for the dude to publish a book. We ain't got no time to go back and forth with all the pseudo arguments. Publish your book and then we talk. He did it. So now here's the talk. Here we go. There we go. Y'all should already know when I load a PowerPoint, it's a problem. Y'all should already know when I got a PowerPoint on the screen, it's about to be a whole problem in the building. So as you guys can see, today's lecture is entitled Pseudo Scholarship on Trial, Part 2. This time dealing with plagiarism. As I was reading and studying Garfield's book, what I found was plagiarism. The particular area of plagiarism that I found in this book is something known as Mosaic plagiarism or patch writing. It comes from when an author is in the habit of copy and pasting material from other sources, adding it to their own book like it's their source, and then thinking that because they wrote the author's name and the title of the book, that they're entitled to do so. No, because when someone's reading the book, how are they supposed to know that these are the words of the author versus the words that you're speaking? Hence why you're supposed to put it in quotations. But people who are in the habit of doing these things, they're trying to sneak off the work as their own. Hence why it's known as plagiarism. So here we go, Exhibit A. Mosaic plagiarism occurs when a student borrows phrases from a source without using quotation marks, or finds synonyms for the author's language while keeping to the same general structure and meaning of the original, sometimes called patch writing. This kind of paraphrasing, whether intentional or not, is academically dishonest and punishable even if you footnote your source. So when Garfield responds to this, because you know he's going to cry and respond, he's going to say, but on page 26 and 27, I cited the source. It doesn't matter that you cited the source as a footnote, because you did not add quotations around the words that they spoke, which amounts to 90% of chapter 1 in your book. You have just committed Mosaic plagiarism. Now let me show you the part in his book where he committed Mosaic plagiarism. Watch this, y'all. Oh, I got receipts, y'all. Here we go. We are in chapter 1 of Garfield's book, Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites. We're in chapter 1. We're on page 10. If you guys look at the highlighted portion in yellow, that's where we're going to begin. So let me blow up the screen to make this easy. I want everybody to be able to see this. Let me blow up the screen. So this is an excerpt from chapter 1. We're on page 10 in his book. And I started to notice that he had a quotation, which is here by the word and. Let me blow it up more so everyone can see. There's a quotation right here. There's a quotation mark, and. Okay. And then there's a period / apostrophe, a question. So that's the end of the quotation. Okay. And he goes on to state more things from the book, which are, by the way, verbatim quotes from the book. And this time, as you guys can see, there's no quotation. Now we're going to get down to the highlighted part where it gets even more interesting. Notice that again, guys, from the start of this paragraph, there's no quotation. Remember that. From the start of the paragraph, there's no quotation. Come down now to the highlighted part so you can see what I found. It says, we see just a political framework, and now let me go up. In Genesis, in the story of Babel, the first great city, and later with Egypt and its kings, These organizations are described as unjust, completely beholden to the power of a single king. Now, we're going to stop there for a moment, because as I was reading this, it just dawned on me that Garfield doesn't speak like this. It just dawned on me as I'm reading Garfield's book that in the years that I've had dialogues with this guy, he's not a real intellectual. Not at all. So when I read in the book and I'm noticing these are clearly not his words, when you're familiar with somebody, you're familiar with somebody. So I'm saying to myself, who's the writer? Because this is definitely not Garfield's work. So what I did was I passed it through Grammarly, and a book came up. And here's the book that came up when I passed his book through an online plagiarism site known as Grammarly, which can actually check for plagiarism in books. And look what I found. In the book Argonauts of the Desert, which Garfield cites in his source section of the book, watch this. It says, we see, I want everybody to see this. I want everybody to see this. This is checkmate. This is a dagger. It says, we see just a political framework in Genesis in the story of Babel, the first great city, and later with Egypt and its kings. These organizations are described as unjust, completely beholden to the power of a single king. Now, wait a goddamn minute. This is page 106 from Argonauts of the Desert. This is page 106 from Argonauts of the Desert. But Garfield, you have that exact same passage in your book with no quotations. So do you want us to believe that you wrote this? Because anybody that's familiar with your lectures, we know that you're not an intellectual speaker. That's one thing we know. We know that you're not an orator. We know that. We listen to you when you speak, most of us. So when we read a book that you author, we would expect that it agrees with your style of speaking. So for me, immediately upon examining your book, I immediately know that you didn't write this. So I took your book and I put it through the plagiarism online source check, Grammarly. And it pulled up a book that you cited, which is Argonauts in the Desert, except Garfield, when you passed it off in your book, you didn't put any quotations around it. And let me just remind everybody, he didn't put any quotations around it. We'll do that again. This is a whole new paragraph. Plato describes how humanity lived according to a patriarchal system, the elders exercising authority. Come all the way down. By the way, that's in the book as well. Come all the way down and you'll see the highlighted portion that I passed through Grammarly. We see just a political framework. I want everyone to notice there's no quotations around this. And there's no quotations at the beginning of the paragraph, which means Garfield is trying to pass this off as his own work. You come up to the second row where the paragraph continues and you see the rest of the quote. Then you go to the source, which is Argonauts of the Desert. And you see that what Garfield has in page 10 of his book was plagiarized from page 106 of Argonauts of the Desert. And why is this considered plagiarism? Simply because Garfield did not put quotations around that which he stole from the book. And just as a brief reminder, look at what that's called. Mosaic plagiarism occurs when a student borrows phrases from a source without using quotation marks. You stole it. It took you 4 years to write and edit it. I'm pretty sure you know that you need quotation marks. Didn't you attempt to chastise me? Didn't you attempt to chastise me? So I'm sure you know this, which means it is deliberate. Which means it is deliberate. So I invite the Israelite community, rather than waste your $30 and purchase this book, you can follow my series on YouTube where I'm entitled to do an educational review on his book, and you can just send me the $30 as a donation. How about that? I challenge the Israelite community, instead of paying $30 for this plagiarized book, you can follow my series on YouTube and you can donate $30 to this platform for exposing this book for the plagiarism that it is. Now watch this. So I proved that he plagiarized from Argonauts of the Desert. The same exact quote that's on page 10 of his book is on page 106 of his book. Same exact quote. Look. Plato describes, let's start from the beginning, guys, so you guys could really understand this. Watch this. Notice that the passage, guys, let me get this real big. Notice, guys, that the passage in question does not begin with a quotation. Right where it says Plato. If everyone sees Plato, I need everybody to follow this to a T, because this is going to cook and finish this guy in the community. This is going to cook and finish this guy. I need everybody. If you can see that the word Plato does not have a quotation mark in front of it, I want you to type a 1 and a fire emoji in this room right now. I want you to type a 1 and a fire emoji in this room right now. If that word Plato does not have a quotation mark in front of it, I need everyone to type a 1 or a fire emoji in this live chat room right now. And thank you for the first donation of $30. Guys, don't buy the book. It's plagiarism. It's worth nothing to you. But if you were interested in buying the book, send that donation right here as I continue to expose the plagiarism in the book. Shout out to Antonio Whitehead for the first $30. Thank you very much for your donation. Keep it coming. Here we go. Notice, guys, it says Plato describes how humanity lived according to a patriarchal system, the elders exercising authority. This is the exact framework of Genesis as demonstrated by the fact that the cycles of the patriarch Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob start after the stories of the flood and the Tower of Babel. After discussion of the patriarch life in the laws comes the building of Troy and other cities such as Sparta, Athens, and the establishment of the Persian state. Plato's historical reconstruction allows him to introduce his speech concerning the ideal state, as an excess of democracy was thought to have ruined Athens, and Persia was ruled by too much despotism. Plato's state tried to achieve a balance between the two regimes. We see just a political framework. Let me now go to the top. In Genesis, in the story of Babel, the first great city, and later with Egypt and its king. This is an excerpt from page 10 of Garfield's book, Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites, as you guys can see in the heading on top. As you guys can see in the heading on top, this is a direct excerpt from his book. Misconceptions, right at the top, right? It's page 10 in his book. Now, let me show you where he stole it from. Now let me show you where he stole it from. This is the book he steals it from. Argonauts of the Desert, Structural Analysis of the Hebrew Bible. To be specific, page 106. To be specific, page 106. Hold on, let me take a brief timeout right now to kind of moderate real quick. I see might have a couple trolls. Let me just All right. All right. All right. People crying that I'm pointing out plagiarism in his book, and they're asking me to debunk it with scholarship. Don't worry, that's next. Let's first deal with the fact that we have to acknowledge that he plagiarized. Then we're going to deal with the fact that what he plagiarized was already debunked. That's in my PowerPoint too. So don't worry, buddy. I got you covered. But slow down. Hold on. I got something especially for you. I knew this would come in handy. I knew Garfield wasn't man enough to actually come in here and face me. And I knew that he would send people in here crying. Don't worry, I got you. I knew that Garfield would send you. I got you. Hold on. I got some Kleenex for you. I got some Kleenex tissue for you, okay? For all y'all out there that's crying that I'm exposing that Garfield has plagiarism in his book, I knew that he would send you in here. So you can take a couple of pieces. I have some Kleenex for you, okay? I knew this would come in handy. Right now, he's at home air punching. I'm going to finish him. I'm going to finish him. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to first deal with the fact that he plagiarized. That's the first thing we're going to deal with. Then I'm going to show you that what he plagiarized was already debunked. But let me first show you that he actually plagiarized. This is so sad, it's not even funny. How are you going to plagiarize something that was already debunked? All right, here we go. All right. So in page 10 of Garfield's oversized pamphlet, A Work of Plagiarism, he steals the ideas from Argonauts of the Desert, and he says verbatim everything that the author says without putting the words into quotation. So I need everybody to do this. I need you to type or write down on page 106 of Argonauts of the Desert. I'm giving you guys a citation. On page 106 of Argonauts of the Desert, Garfield plagiarizes an entire statement and then puts it in his book. And it encompasses several pages, guys. This is just me touching on it briefly, but this actually goes through several pages in his book where there's no quotations, and he's writing verbatim everything the author says in this book. Remember, guys, you just learned, if you didn't know it already, that's called Mosaic plagiarism. Mosaic plagiarism occurs when a student borrows phrases from a source without using quotation marks. Whether intentional or not, it is academically dishonest and punishable, even if you footnote your source. So when Garfield does a video response to this and he cries that he lists the book at the end of the chapter in the sources, that doesn't matter because you needed to add quotations in the text so that the reader knows you are quoting someone and not speaking your own words. But you purposely did that and still added the source so that you can come back and say, but I have the source. That does not matter, as everyone can see on the screen. It doesn't matter that you added the source as a footnote. You still have to add quotations. And if you do not, you just have committed Mosaic plagiarism, which is academically dishonest and punishable. Let me keep going. because it gets more interesting. Remember to put quotes in quotation marks. Sometimes, even when people cite their sources correctly, they forget to put quotes in quotation marks. Often, this is just a sloppy error, but technically, it is still plagiarism. If everybody just read that for themselves, throw some fire emojis in the room real quick before I go on. If everybody just read that for themselves, put some fire emojis in the room before I go on. What the hell are we doing? Huh? Even if this is a sloppy error, it is still plagiarism. Put some fire emojis in the room with your copy and paste scholarship. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I ain't done with them. I ain't done with them. Family, make sure you thumb up the video, y'all. Over 100 people in the building. Thumb up the video, family. I'm not even going to continue until we get the likes up. Thumb up the video, family. Thumb up the video. If you're now coming in, thumb up the video. If y'all want to see the rest of the presentation, where I show you that not only he committed plagiarism, but the thing he plagiarized was entirely wrong and was already debunked in a scholarly journal. I'm about to open up a scholarly journal that shows you that the information he just copied and pasted and plagiarized has long been debunked. So he's using information that was debunked and he plagiarized it. Damn, you all the way wrong. You wrong for plagiarizing, and the material you plagiarized was already debunked in an academic journal. Damn, you finished and cooked on this one. If y'all want me to show the rest, throw some likes in this chat room right now, y'all. Thumb up the video and share the live. Make sure this video is on your social media page. Y'all want me to show the rest? What we doing? What we doing? Man had 4 years to do this. 4 years. And he was copying, pasting, plagiarizing. And I'm about to show you that the material he plagiarized was long debunked already. Long debunked already. So let me show you what some of the idiots do in the conscious community. They go online and they type in Exodus debunked. They go online and they type in Bible debunked. And because they can trace it to a book that was written at some point in time, they put it in a PowerPoint presentation, or in the case of this idiot, plagiarize it and put it in a book. And then this is going to be the thing that's going to destroy the Hebrew Israelites. So you're going to use plagiarized material to destroy the Hebrew Israelites. And the plagiarized material is outdated and debunked. The first thing I want to do is this. Because that's what this book is worth. Garbage. And later on, well, that's another story. Later on, you know, because I heard it's illegal in New York right now. I heard it's legal in New York right now. So later on, when I get some time, you know, y'all probably could figure this one out. Yeah, I think I know what it's good for. We call this in Jamaica a big head spliff. Yeah, I think I know what this is good for. Yeah, we call this in Jamaica a big head spliff. I just found some use for your book, Garfield. Thank you very much. Huh? In the words of Gucci, we smoking on Tukey tonight. Huh? In the words of Gucci Mane, we smoking on Tukey tonight. I just found some use for your book, Garfield. In the words of Tukey, in the words of Gucci Mane, we smoking on some Tukey tonight. Y'all know I don't play. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. Y'all know I do not play. Let's go. I got more for y'all. I got more. I got more for y'all. I got more. I call that segment respectfully disrespectful. I call that segment respectfully disrespectful. Respectfully disrespectful. Now, to everybody correcting me on the brother's name, I purposely didn't say the brother's name out of respect for the dead. That's why I switched the name. So I'm not going to say the brother's name. Y'all doing too much in the chat room. Nah, it wasn't Pookie, not Tuki. I know what it was, but out of respect for the dead, I'm not saying his name. Y'all doing too much. Calm down. Calm down. Y'all doing too much, man. Y'all should already know I'm meticulous. All right, here we go. I found some use for your book. Remember, family, if you're in the building right now and y'all want me to continue, we got to get the likes up. With well over 100 people in the building, I am not going to continue if we don't got the likes up. I just put Garfield's book in a backwood. I just put his book in a backwood. If y'all want to see me bring out the rest, we're going to have to get those likes up, family. If y'all want to see me get the rest, we're going to have to get those likes up, family. In the meantime, let me see how this big head spliff working for later. In the meantime, let me see how this big head spliff working for later. I used to be a master at operating. You know, you operate on a spliff when it busts off a little bit. You know, when a spliff busts off a little bit, you gotta operate on it. Some of y'all who know about easy white and them thing. Let me stop. I'm the wrong person to play with, boy. I am the wrong person to play with. They're gonna be, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for Garfield this week. They're gonna be cutting up this video today, and they're gonna be like, yo, Zion Lexx put Garfield in a big head Jamaican spliff. He's smoking on a Tukey. Garfield scholarship was put inside a Jamaican big head spliff live on Zion Lexx TV. You are finished, dude. You are cooked. Get those likes up, family, if y'all want me to continue. Get those likes up, family, if you want me to continue. Y'all know I'm a different beast. I got the book just one day now. It's just one day. By the end of this series, this book gonna be looking real crazy. By the end of this series, y'all, I promise you, this book gonna be looking real crazy. I just got the book yesterday. And look what I already found. Could y'all imagine? Because I'm going to finish it by the end of the weekend. Could y'all imagine what Monday's lecture going to sound like? Which is by the time I'm finished with the book. My apologies, guys, that you can't see the rest of the book. Hold on. Let me unroll this big head spliff. Let me get rid of his contents. Let me unroll it. Sorry, guys. This is the rest of his book. For those of y'all who want to see it, this is the rest of it. Sorry, guys. This is the rest of the book. Sorry, it's kind of used to be a spliff. All right. All right, I'm gonna continue, y'all. Here we go. Now watch this. If you copy exact language from a source, usually more than 3 words, and fail to use quotation marks, this is plagiarism. Even if you add the citation, if you use someone else's ideas throughout your paper and you simply list the person as a source at the end of your paper, this is still plagiarism. So attention, Garfield A. Reid. In chapter 1, which starts on, what page is this trash start on? Chapter 1 is page 1 of your book. On pages 26 and 27, the end of chapter 1, you list your sources where you stole information from. Because you thought that in listing the sources, The copy and paste work that you did throughout chapter 1 was going to slide. Because you, like many other people in the community, think that we are too ignorant to be aware of what you are doing. Only problem is some of us know you, bruh, in real life. As we say in Jamaica, in a real life. You hear me, my G? We know you in a real life. Not no YouTube, not no Facebook. Garfield, remember this. I know you in a real life, my G. Real life. You know that. I don't know you from Sarnetta. I know you from promoting parties in the Bronx. You remember when I bought Haile Selassie's great-granddaughter Sheba? You remember when I bought Dylon from Making the Band? That's how I know you. Unlike everybody else, I know you in a real life, my G. Remember that. Remember that. Now watch this. Even if you copy exact language from a source, usually more than 3 words, and fail to use quotation marks, this is plagiarism. So let's see how many words he copied without using quotations, y'all. Let's see. We just read that if you use more than 3 words, it just takes 3 words. If you got 3 words from somebody's book and you don't got quotations, you plagiarize. Let's see how many words he has. We're going to start with the word Plato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn, you already plagiarized, but let's keep going. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In fact, guys, just use your imagination as I scan. Just use your imagination as I scan. You literally just saw just now, it takes just 3 words to have plagiarism. And let me show you that again. Takes just 3 words for something to be plagiarism. Bruh, your whole first chapter, minus the couple stupid words you said. And by the way, guys, when you're reading his book, it's going to become immediately clear what he wrote. Because whatever he wrote, that's what has all the grammatical errors. So I just gave y'all a gem. If you want to find out what part of the book Garfield actually wrote, look for the part of the book that has all the grammar errors. That's his words. I fact checked that too. And I was rolling last night. I said, yo, this is crazy. So he plagiarized 90% of chapter 1. And the other 10% that he didn't plagiarize, that's the whole part of the book that got all the grammar errors. So it becomes immediately apparent what Garfield wrote from what he didn't wrote. Just check for grammar errors, guys, and you're going to find out real quick what he wrote and what he copied and pasted. Let me keep going. Now, this part is very telling. I want y'all to listen to this very clearly. This part right here is very telling. Watch this. How much quotation is acceptable in an original paper? How much? How much of someone else's work can you actually put in your book and still call it your book? Are people aware that while you are allowed to cite sources in your book, if your whole book, 90% of your book virtually becomes the verbatim words of someone else, it's not your book. In fact, it's not a book at all. You might as well have published it in a paper and said you're giving a review on someone else's thoughts. The hell are we doing here? You didn't write a book. You gave a review on someone else's thoughts. Let me keep going. How much quotation is acceptable in an original paper? The original passage, probably only about 10%. Listen to this, guys. 10% of your final manuscript should appear as directly quoted matter. Guys, 90% of chapter 1 is from the book Argonauts in the Desert. as I just showed you. They just said 10% of your final manuscript, 10% should be directly quoted from elsewhere. That's it. Garfield, last night while I was reading, it immediately appeared to me that you lack quotations for virtually all your sources in the book. You very sparsely use quotations, which means you're plagiarizing through the whole damn book. And most of your book, Garfield, is not original thoughts. You're copy and pasting from online sources, and congratulations, you played yourself. Don't you ever fix your face to say my name again in your life. You are cooked, finished, done. They're going to cut up this video so much that you're going to be air punching everywhere you go. Every time you hear the word Zion Lexx. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So from the outset, guys, we already proved that Garfield committed plagiarism. We already proved that Garfield committed plagiarism. I'm now going to show you what else Garfield committed. And this ain't going to be nice. I'm now going to show you guys what else Garfield committed. And this ain't going to be nice. In the words of Jabari, someone watching this may contact the author of Argonauts of the Desert. In the words of Jabari, Garfield, somebody watching this may contact the author of the book, Argonauts of the Desert. And they may perhaps let them know, Garfield, that you plagiarize 90% of their work from the book, Argonauts of the Desert. In my best Jabari impersonation, Garfield, someone may contact the author and may report that you plagiarized Argonauts of the Desert. Y'all better throw some fire emojis in the room if you know for a fact this is the most epic body bag y'all seen all 2021. Y'all better throw some fire emojis in the room if you know for a fact this is the most epic body bag you've seen all 2021. And I ain't done. Watch this. Watch this. Don DeMarco. Don DeMarco. Now watch this. So aside from the fact that Garfield plagiarized, what I have to share with you now is what he actually plagiarized is incorrect information. So it's interesting that Garfield's, hold on, I can't figure out what the title of the book, because some of it is now a Jamaican big head spliff. Let me unroll this spliff. Thanks, Garfield. I knew your book would have some kind of use. Let me unroll this spliff so we could piece together, so I could copy and paste like Garfield usually does. Okay, there we go. Then, oh, damn, this Jamaican big head spliff keep coming apart. Hold on. Hold on. Let me put it together. Misconceptions. The name of his book is Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites, Volume 1. What's most ironic about the title is that he's the one giving misinformation, as you're about to see. Watch this. The most ironic part about this title is he's the one that's giving misinformation, as you're about to see. So I want everybody to notice the screen really quick. Focus on the screen. Focus on the screen. For chapter 1, he lists a total of 23 sources. 9 of the sources, are from another source. I'm going to say it again. At the end of chapter 1, Garfield lists a total of 23 sources that he says and claims that he copied and pasted from and got this information. 14 of the 23 sources are from Argonaut of the Desert. So this becomes clear that Garfield plagiarized the first chapter of his book, because the bulk of his sources came from a book he plagiarized. Chapter 1 of Garfield's book is plagiarized work. Now I'm going to show you that the funniest part of his title, Misinformation, is the fact that he's given misinformation, because the material in his book has been debunked. Now watch this. Y'all better throw some fire emojis in this chat room, because you know this is the most epic beat down, whatever y'all want to call it, you've seen all 2021. You know that. You know that. Watch this. Now watch this. Let me unshare the screen so I can show you that the work he plagiarized is not even good work, it's misinformation. Don't take my word for it. I got an online source that's going to show you. As a brief reminder, guys, I think I said this earlier, do not waste your money and buy this book on Amazon. Do not. What you could do is donate the $30 that this book costs right here to this platform, because I'm going to take the time to go through this book and show you that this book represents misconception and misinformation itself. So those of you who were considering buying the book so you can see what it says, I am, as it is within my full legal right to do so, going to give an educational commentary on the main themes in the book. So instead of buying the worthless book that's only good for a big head spliff possibly, you could send that $30 donation right to this platform. Now watch this. Uh-oh. Where are we? Where are we? We are looking at the Bible and Critical Theory, an online scholarly journal that publishes peer-reviewed articles that explore the intersections between critical theory and biblical studies. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me make it bigger. I want everybody to see it. We are looking at, guys, the Bible and Critical Theory, which is an online scholarly journal that publishes peer-reviewed articles that explore the intersection between critical theory and biblical studies. And the book we're about to look at is the book that Garfield plagiarized, Argonauts of the Desert. Now watch this. Here is a scholarly review, peer review, from an online journal, The Bible and Critical Theory, of the book Argonauts of the Desert. Let's see if the book that he plagiarized, let's see if we could put plagiarism aside for a moment and say, all right, man, I support, I'm a diehard fan of Garfield. I support him so much. I don't care that he plagiarized. I don't care. I'm stupid. I'm blind. I'm dumb. We read somewhere in the Bible, stupefy yourselves and be ye stupid. Blind yourselves and be ye blind. Who is as blind as my servant and my elect? Damn, some of us stupid. Yeah, I know some of y'all blindly follow him. And I know some of y'all not going to care that he plagiarized. Which is why I said, let me put Argonauts through the desert through the scholarly journals and see if there's a peer review on the book. And sure enough, there are peer reviews on the book which show that it has long been debunked. Let's see what they say. This is a review of Philip Wagenbaum, the author of Argonauts of the Desert, Structural Analysis of the Hebrew Bible. Now watch this. Make this nice and big so everybody can see it. Here we go. I told y'all, boy, I'm the last person to be playing with in the community. If I left you alone, consider yourself lucky. Because if I get on your paws, it's going to be a problem, boy. Trust me when I tell you that. Last person to be playing with in the community. Now listen to what the review says. This book is based on Wagenbaum's 2008 dissertation. By the way, guys, if you didn't see earlier, this scholarly review was published in 2011. What is that? 10 years ago? So the book that Garfield plagiarized from was debunked 10 years ago. The book was written 13 years ago, in 2008. It was debunked in 2011. 3 years after that. Garfield, the book you plagiarized from, is well over 10 years debunked. Yet you want to call your book Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites? No, your work is plagiarism, and that which you plagiarized was debunked 10 years ago, a whole decade ago. Sit your ass down. Let me get into the debunking. This book is based on Wagenbaum's 2008 dissertation in social sciences anthropology from the Université Libre de Bruxelles under the direction of Michel Bros. Wagenbaum clearly lays out his assumptions, thesis, and method in a 90-page introduction. First, he espouses Levi-Strauss' structural analysis of myth, in which a myth exists and reveals itself through all its transformations and variants, including modern translations and interpretations. For Wagenbaum, this justifies his search for narrative and legal parallels and Greek sources to the biblical material in Genesis to Kings, and it also justifies his use of translations. Let me come down. His second point is a conglomeration of stances. So he's similar to Garfield. He just throws a bunch of shit in there. In short, Wagenbaum sees Genesis to Kings as the work of one author, possibly living in Alexandria, who fashions a national epic. By the way, guys, this is what Garfield purports through most of his book, which shows you most of his book is outdated, debunked, plagiarized information. But let me continue. In short, Wagenbaum sees 2 Kings as the work of one author, possibly living in Alexandria, who fashions a national epic as a counter to the powerful Hellenistic culture, threatening to displace ancient cultures, particularly that of Judea. The central strategy of this counter statement is to, where we at? Lost my, hold on. Lost my place. The central strategy of this counter statement is to appropriate the Greek tradition, particularly that of Plato's Laws and Herodotus, to write this national epic and, in a sense, to beat the Hellenistic forces at their own game. Now let's keep going. Genesis 2 transposes Plato's ideal state, described in both the Republic and the Laws, into Israel's own history. I'm going to scroll down a bit. I'm going to share the online source in the chat room so you guys can see it, but I'm just going to get down to his actual commentary. In the introduction, he summarizes the major Greek myth cycles, the Argonauts, Thebes, and Heracles and his ancestors, and the main Greek and Roman authors. Genesis to 2 Kings is much more. Listen to this, guys. This is what the scholarly review is now saying about the book Argonauts in the Desert that Garfield just plagiarized from. Now listen to his actual review. He says Genesis through 2 Kings is much more than a clumsy assemblage of old legends held together by theology rather than the Bible. It is an interpretation of Greek literature through a Platonic filter in Hebrew that deserves our admiration. Even though the biblical writer did not invent any of the stories in the Bible, he deserves the title of the author as he created a unique work, the book par excellence. Now watch this. We're approaching the actual commentary. Now listen to the scholarly review. The author now says, to surmise the book Argonauts in the Desert, he calls it a grand claim. And he says to support it, Wagenbaum goes through each book from Genesis to 2 Kings, noting and commenting on the various parallels in the Greek sources to various parts and elements in his book. I personally have no problem with posting a date in the Hellenistic period for most of it, if not all of the Hebrew Bible. He says, I started Wagenbaum's book sympathetic to his project, wanting to see his evidence for a late date, which is what Garfield and the author of Argonauts in the Desert is trying to say. Most of all, for his claim of a unified work composed deliberately and directly from Greek materials. Unfortunately, I was quickly disabused of any hopes that he could provide solid evidence, convincing parallels for his grand theory. In short, he has not made his case with particular parallels to given biblical stories and laws, or with larger structural parallels to a book or group of books. Garfield, you are done. At this point, the only people I will follow you are your die-hard retards. But for the people who have a brain and can think, the first thing they're going to realize after watching this video is that you committed Mosaic plagiarism as defined and pointed out earlier in this video. Secondly, they're going to see that the work you plagiarized is already 10 years debunked. So what the hell are we doing? Let me share the source for this in the chat room so everybody can see. You're going to learn today, boy. You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. I'm going to make you believe in the God of Israel today. You might have doubted him. I'm going to make you a believer today, because anytime you go against this great and mighty and powerful, majestic king, you're going to get your ass smacked all the way down. Oh, I'm going to make you a believer today. I'm going to make you a believer today. Garfield is a plagiarizer. I want everyone who watches this video to share it on your YouTube. You have my full permission to take this video and put it on your YouTube. You have my full permission to cut it up and put parts of it on your Facebook. With that being said, family, I got to enjoy the Shabbat. Thank you, family, for being here with me. Stay tuned tonight for part 3, Garfield's book on trial. Because there's more. Oh, I didn't tell you how there's more? Yeah, there's more shit that I found. Stay tuned.